Hi, everybody. For today's lesson, we're actually dividing it up into 3 parts. So the first part is going to be a review of your exact values. So if you have your unit circle handy from your pre-cal class, you might want to get that out. Or I also have a chart that I've printed off. Well, I haven't printed off. I've copied for you that you can have. You can download it. You can print it. You can copy it down. You can do whatever you want. But that's what we'll do our first part of the lesson about. The second part, we'll review how to simplify rational expressions. Those are the expressions that look like fractions in algebra, and you've got to simplify those before we can do other things. The third part of the lesson, we're actually getting back into the calculus topics. We'll be working more with limits. But in the third part, instead of using a graph or a table to find limits, we'll actually figure out how to find a limit using just algebra. So that's what we're going to do in today's lesson. This video is going to be specifically about the first part. So let's get started. Okay, so when you log into your Delta Math account to complete the lesson assignment for today, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. The first 2 sections are dealing with your exact value trig functions. So on your Canvas page, I have uploaded a PDF file that has all the trig functions and all their values. So you'll want to keep this handy. So I strongly suggest that you either print this out or copy it down, but you're going to use this all year long. There'll be times where you're working a problem and you do all the calculus and you've done all the calculus part, but the very end, it'll be a question like, okay, I can get my answer as long as I know what the cotangent of 5 pi over 6 is. So if you have your chart, you can just look at the cotangent of 5 pi over 6, and then you'll have your answer. Okay, so let's click in this first section, and I can show you guys what I'm talking about. So you'll have 4 questions. You need to get 4 questions correct, where you find the exact value of sine of 4 pi over 3. So let me get my little laser pointer over here. I need to find the sine of 4 pi over 3. So I look at the column that says sine. 4 pi over 3 is right here. And I want to see where sine of 4 pi over 3 is. Looks like negative square root of 3 over 2. So to get the fraction, I can just type that division key. Negative square root of 3 over 2. Submit my answer. And pull it back over. Yay, I'm right. So you have a couple like that. Let's see this next one. Sometimes I'll ask you for a cotangent. But then in the second section, you've got some order of operations. And that's where you've got to do a little bit more, where I have given that f of x equals the cosine of 2x. Find the exact value of f of 5 pi over 6 in the simplest form with a rational denominator. So here I'm going to have to do a little work. So let me pull up my writing pad here. Okay, so they want me to find the cosine of 2x, but they're saying that x is 5 pi over 6. Okay, let me write this down. I need to find f of 5 pi over 6. That's really thick. Okay, so that means I'm going to take that expression cosine of 2x and replace the x with 5 pi over 6. So I'm going to need to multiply 2 times 5 pi over 6 before I evaluate. So cosine of 2 times 5 pi over 6, you multiply, like this 2 is like 2 over 1. So multiply those fractions straight across. I'm going to find the cosine of 10 pi over 6. And 10 over 6, if I divide the top and the bottom, or numerator and denominator, by 2, I get 5 pi over 3. So to get my final answer, I'm going to go over to my chart, and I'm going to figure out what the cosine of 5 pi over 3 is. So cosine 5 pi over 3 matches up right here. So 1/2. So this should be equal to 1/2. Okay, so then I'll come over here and I'll type in 1/2 and I'll see if I'm right. Yes, I want to submit that answer. Slide it over. Correct. And are there any others? Oh, I do want to do one like this with you guys, where you have the cosecant squared of something. I just want to remind you, let me erase what I had before, that when you see that notation cosecant squared, that means, so if I see something like cosecant squared of x, that's the same thing as cosecant of x and then that entire quantity squared. So this is going to be more helpful for evaluating and practicing. So if I want to find f of 7 pi over 4, that means I need to figure out what the cosine or cosecant of 7 pi over 4 is and then square it. So I go over to my chart, I find the cosecant, I have to move everything out of the way. Cosecant's way over here. Come on, cosecant. Cosecant of 7 pi over 4. Okay, cosecant of 7 pi over 4 is negative square root of 2. So then I'll come over here and say that this equals negative square root of 2 squared. Okay, so when you square a negative, you're always going to get a positive. So instead of negative, I have positive. And the square of a square root cancels out that square root, so positive 2 is what I should get for my answer. So I'll type in 2, submit, and there you go. So this video helps with those first 2 sections of the assignment. You can either pause right now and do those 2 sections, or you can continue on through the other 2 videos for the lesson.